Another question I always have is about the what makes me choose certain photos to run in the magazine. I know this was a question in Region 1, and typically it is the quality of the picture, whether it's too dark, too light, the subject matter. If we got nothing but the backs of people's heads, I want to see faces. I'll choose it based on what I think looks best as far as the best quality shots out of a selection of images. Now, what can happen sometimes is somebody may take an important picture of someone that maybe had been a first prize, or as we're talking about the winner of a bike show, first place, and that picture may not have come out well. And there may have been an issue with why I didn't run it because there's something wrong with the image. And so that shot doesn't run, but let's say second, third, fourth place in the bike show, their pictures were better and they ran. And the person who was first place is upset because his picture wasn't in there, but the other ones were. That's all a matter of the chance of pressing that button on the camera, and whether the light is right, whether something comes out properly or not that I can use it in the magazine. But most of the people I see in the photographs, I don't know who they are personally. I don't know every member of the organization, so I don't make a conscious effort to say, I like this guy, I don't like this guy, I'm not going to run that picture. I just like to run pictures that I think people are going to like, they're going to look good. I try to run a little bit of everything in the magazine. If I got kid shots, I'll put those in, family shots. I try to make a conscious effort to mix it up a little bit. Some of the foreign bikes I'll put in there, as well as the Harleys. And, you know, I just try to make a good selection judgment on that. My judgment might not be the same as somebody else's judgment on a call on photos. But, you know, I just try to do my best on that, and it's not always a perfect equation to put that together. Yes?
How much manipulation of the digital shot do you do as far as trying to lighten up or trying to zoom in, crop, and do things like that? Would you prefer us as photographers to do that and send you the disc, or do you
I prefer to do that myself, because what happens is when you print a magazine, our publication is print on those big newspaper type presses where they got big rolls of paper and it goes through all that stuff. And the paper that we use for the magazine is a couple steps up from regular newsprint, but newsprint in general and paper in general is kind of like the paper towel, like the old Bounty commercials, where when ink hits it, it spreads. And so you don't get a really good, perfect dot when an ink drop hits it. It kind of spreads out a bit. And so with photos are broken down into little tiny dots. That's what makes sure I see the darks, the shadows, all of that stuff. And when I prepare the images, I have to think in my head, how much do I have to lighten this up to compensate for the presses that print the paper so the images don't get too dark? Because what will look good on the screen, when it gets an ink on that paper, it may look completely different. Way too dark, everything's too black. And if anybody was around back when I was doing the magazine, when it was the newspaper back in the 80s, we were on a really old press and everything was almost pitch black. All of the black and white photos, you could barely see people's faces, and you know, we've improved quite a bit on that. But I prefer to be able to adjust it based on our presses. Yes.
And I don't know whether it's in there, but it's got to be submitted within, what, 3 months or 2 months of the exam or something?
Yeah, and that's one of those things that's coming up here. I basically said that, you know, you want to be timely on it. Don't wait too long to send me photos, which is perfect, you know, that's perfect segue into the fact that if I get somebody's photos first before another photographer's photos, and I run those photos in the issue, and then the other photographer's photos come in after that goes to print, I'm not going to run that other photographer's photos because I only run the event once in the magazine. So try to make sure you get in on a timely fashion when you send those in, because you may miss somebody else's photos coming in, and then you're basically going to get nothing in the magazine because I've already run those. Somebody was faster on the draw. So make sure you get them in early.
It's like our big blessing. I mean, how many pictures?
Well, I mean, Mike sends me everything that he sends, you know, so I'll have hundreds of photos from one event, which is fine. You know, honestly, it could help me a lot if you go through your pictures before you send them And this one's obviously black. This is a picture of somebody's feet.
Right.
You know, this is the back of someone's pants. This one, you can't see anybody's face. It's the back of someone's head. The camera went off accidentally. You don't have to send those.
Right.
Say-
Delete, check them, delete. And-
Yeah, yeah. That saves me a little bit of time and cuts some of that down. But outside of that, I want to try to remove any kind of personal preference, and I want this picture to go in because this is my best friend, and I want this person to go in, you know, and I will try to accommodate some of that. If you say, we really need this picture to go in because this guy donated his property to the event, give me a note on that, and I'll make every effort to make sure that I put that person's name in there, or their picture in there, and then the caption that you want me to put on there, thank you so-and-so for donating your property or whatever, so identify that.
Does Hoosier Motorcyclist have an exclusive photographer?
No, no. We let anybody take pictures. You don't have to have any special abilities or anything, right, Mike?
Yeah, pick me. Although I will add to your remarks, when you're at an event and you're taking pictures, you try to look for certain things, look at the people, and try to capture the moment, as you say. If that means you take 20 pictures, that's the best 20 pictures you're going to get. If it means you took 250 pictures, like I do, then that's the 250 you get. So you have to look at the event, the length of an event, to decide exactly how many pictures you're taking. Just the fact that, you know, he wants as many as possible, obviously, so he has a good idea of what the event felt like to see what kind of pictures he wants to use. But the amount of pictures you take is really going to depend on how long the event is and who's there, how many people are there. You can't take 40 pictures of the same kid.
Yeah, because I'll get a lot more photos of a 3-day weekend event than I will from one bike ride. So there's going to be a big difference between that. And I mean, obviously, pictures tell stories. And, you know, there's nothing more powerful than a picture, because that puts all kinds of words in your mind and it really gives you a feel for an event. So you're trying to tell a story with your photographs.